Tak, ahoj, já vás vítám u další bonusové epizody podcastu Skleněná slova, respektive kdo koukáte na YouTube jenom malý ochutnávky, celou epizodu najdete na Spotify nebo v aplikaci Audio Librix, tam mě možná někteří z vás aktuálně poslouchají. Ti, kdo poslouchají, přichází o aktuální pozadí, což jsou kresby a ilustrace a taková velká nástěnná malba, která je teď za mnou, kterou vytvářel Cox, což je francouzský ilustrátor. Za mnou další obrazy, tady ve vitrínkách jsou další jeho práce. Dneska jsme tady proto, že v rámci festivalu Tabu právě tady v divadle proběhla přednáška, beseda nebo takový představení francouzského nakladatelství MeMo, kde právě i Paul Cox vytváří nějaké svoje ilustrace. Takhle, kdo se dívá, tak trošičku teď něco vidíte. Tento bohužel ale nebyl. O svém nakladatelství mluvila jeho zakladatelka Christine Morault, která vytvářela i spoustu jako jiných aktivit už ze svých studentských let, pak odjela na nějaký čas do Brazílie a když se tady po těch svých cestách vrátila zpátky do Nán, tak se svým manželem Ivesem založili právě nakladatelství MeMo, který se zabývá dětskou literaturou, dětskýma knížkama, s nějakým přesahem, s nějakýma hodnotama, které jsou právě i strašně zajímavě graficky udělané. No a právě tohletu besedu, tohle představení nakladatelství MeMo pro vás mám dneska jako další bonusovou epizodu. Celý to moderovala majitelka tady táborského nakladatelství Baobab, který se taky zaměřuje na dětskou literaturu. Pracuje hodně s ilustracemi, s francouzskýma překladateli, protože právě Tereza Horvátová je i překladatelka z francouzštiny. Celá tahle dnešní epizoda bude v angličtině. Takže doufám, že s tím nebudete mít nikdo žádný problém, ale vzhledem k tomu, že ani jedna z vystupujících není rodilá mluvčí z angličtiny, vlastně to ani neživí a ta angličtina byla za mě velice jednoduchá, i já, která už ji jako x let nepoužívala nijak, jsem tomu skvěle rozuměla, tak doufám, že to pro vás nebude žádná jako velká bariéra a žádný problém. Takže se pohodlně usaďte, nebo jestli třeba u tohohle podcastu vaříte, mějete nádobí, sportujete nebo cokoliv jiného, pardon, tak v každém případě doufám, že vám jakoukoliv činnost teď trošičku zpříjemním a narazíte třeba i na něco zajímavého, co vás obohatí a po čem třeba zapátráte. Takže tady jsou Christine Morault a Tereza Horvátová z nakladatelstvím MeMo.
So, hello Christine.
Hello. Hello.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
And as I told you, you are my hero, and you are also hero of this festival, which has as sentence, "Here come the heroes," and
You are my hero.
no. So, Christine, I think that I will just ask you some questions, and I think that you will speak, and I will just be here to hear if you don't make some thoughts, So then we will have also time for questions for you. We have enough time, we have 1 hour and 15 minutes. So we have Christine here really to ask her, to be with her. And so Christine, I just wanted to say that we did yet an interview with Christine in Bologna. It was great. And do you remember our interview in this Airbnb, or what was it? So we did this interview, which you can read now in Bedeker. It's in Czech, sorry, my foreign friends. And so Christina's life is one big adventure, and I think still it's one big adventure. But I want really to start a bit like I started last time. So, Christine, what was the first time when you thought that maybe you will become something like, not editor, but something that is around books?
Okay, well, I love books. Hello everybody first, and very happy you are many people here to hear from us. Maybe I don't like to say, because it's not true, that I've been planning to be a publisher for ages or centuries. I was very lucky because my father was a real collector of books, collector? Mm-hmm. I don't know how you say that, collectioner. And I had a lot of our books to my entire disposition. But the first time I thought I was a publisher is when the first time I saw a pile of our books, Eve and I, in a bookshop. Because before we were, when we met with Eve, we realized we were great lovers of images. And very soon we thought we should do something together with images. And the first book we had was not at all a book for children. I don't know if I have to jump on that right now.
Yes, jump, I think.
Yeah, I remember talking about imagining what you should do later when you are a child. I was very angry at my godfather, because he offered me, he was an architect, he was a nice guy, he offered me a book for children to love art. So it was something that was showing antique and things that have been done in the past centuries, but it was for children. So I was very angry at him, because I thought, well, I was having all the great art books of my father. I thought really, well, it was like an insult, a little bit snobbish. And after that, when we met with Eve, after
you told that you were a collectioner. What was it? Did you have a collection of images, or what did you do?
My father. Oh, you mean my father?
You told me that you were a collectioner of images. Did you really collect them, or just like them?
We were not only collectioner of antique or art books, contemporary artists also, but also we were absolutely fond of images coming from archives of museums or other places. And the first book we did was very awkward. I didn't bring it here. I think it's not here. It's about a series of materials printed in France for a very nasty thing that was selling slaves. Because they would bring these materials called Indienne, because it was imitated after Indian materials. And these materials were sold to the kings or other people who sold slaves to them, and then they would take the slaves to the Caribbean islands of France and bring sugar back to France. So that's why you call that the triangular slave trade. And why did we like to print these images? I used to say that this first book is exactly the same trend of books that we are doing now. These images had been drawn by people who had no clue of what was Africa. They didn't have Google at that time. And they tried to pick images from India, from Chinese cups and I don't know what you call that. Yeah. And they made a big mix a global mix already. And they were also not the best ones. They were not the best workers to draw these images. So it was a little bit like naive. And in a strange way, it was more contemporary being naive than the toile de jouy and what you know, like you have seen them, you know, it was on the 19th century, it was all over bed and wraps and on the walls and things like that. And we decided to have a series of these images, and at the end we had a little explanation of why this material had been created, how they had been created, but always after the images. And this belief that we had, that you have to have the straight creation and to be very interested by the art of printing books. It was on letterpress. We spent around 3 weeks or a month to determine what exact shade of red it had to be. And once it was printed, I went to the print guy, who was a beautiful old man, and I said, no, it's not the good red, we have to reprint again. He said, I would earn money, but I forbid to do that. So it was the first time, and if people around are in the publishing, you know how much Paul Cox, which is here, and all the Cox, you know how much you always are not absolutely sure you make the good move. And then after you thought, oh, maybe. At the beginning, when I was printing books, I couldn't see the books for about 2, 3, 4 weeks, because I was only seeing what was not exactly what I had planned. So
how much books did you print like each year, for example? In the beginning, it was
one a year. Then once a year. Then it was 2 a year, twice a year, then 3 times a year. So sometimes I say, well, I print between 20 and 25 books a year, and people say, oh, that's a lot. I say, no, it's not a lot, because we are 30 years old, and it's a very slow growth. You know, it's like some trees that grow really slowly. I would like to sometimes print a little less, but we have an incredible team in MeMo with my partner Yves, who is a great art director and also a fabricant. I don't even know how you say that in English. Huh? He's the one who follows all. And he comes here in Czech Republic every month, 3-4 days, to print with Pepetisk in Plibram. And so he's very familiar with the plane between Nantes and Praha.
So go back. We are now go back.
Not too long.
Not too far. No, just I want to stay in the beginning of MeMo because it's really interesting for me. So you spoke about your love for impression, and who was the lover, you or Eve? And you met people. You told me that you met the old word. Maybe it was the word of old impression, and you told me that it changed in this era when you started MeMo.
Sometimes I say to people, you know, I knew the ancient word, and then we went out and we turned out the lights when we went out, because the same year our paper supplier, it was beautiful paper that was made on our requirements. We would decide what shade of white we wanted. We had, like you have Pantone things, we had Pantones with shades of different whites. And this this fabric closed because the cost of energy it's very paper fabrication takes a lot of energy and electricity, and it was too expensive, and they closed. The same year, the people who did, because we did some crazy books with, for instance, a book with Chinese watercolors, and every Chinese watercolor were hand sticked, and for instance, this book, it was, I think, 32,000 of this fine, very fine paper.
Books. Did you print 32,000 books?
No, it was 32,000 images for 1,000 books.
Okay.
Were hand done, and this place, I don't know how you say it in English. They closed also. I have to speak in this. Mm-hmm. And our printer, a young printer.
Do you hear us?
Do you hear?
Do you hear us?
Is that okay for you if I do this like that? Okay. And they closed too. So I said, well, we are next online. And this ancient world of printing was incredible. I mean, I know everybody wrote about that. It's not about nostalgia. It's, for instance, for the prices. We would go there and we would ask how much it was. He would say it, and then we went shake hands. Shaking hands was a contract. That's not anymore the case anywhere. Maybe when you, I don't know, you sell maybe pigs somewhere in the countryside, but not in the publishing business. Anyway, I'm going back thanks to Teresa, because the fabrication, the having the book at the best quality it could. For instance, having the original art, having, I'll tell you after about Dashenka, what we did for Dashenka, or for other books where we chased the original documents very far away from Nantes, and we went to scan them far away from Nantes. The first thing that was on our minds was to respect the original art and wish of the artist so much that it would show in the books. I'm proud of this. I'm not going to say everybody says and knows that. We do really our best for these books. I take one, for instance. Here, it's not an ancient one, but she made the pictures, and after that we choose solid colors, Pantone colors, and also quadrichromy for the gloves. So you have to have the Pantone colors and the quadrichromy, which is absolutely mad. And as very often we've been doing mad books. But at the end, I think that what is important is that from the beginning of our life as publishers, we have been publishing books for adults, and with museums, very strange books with odd fabrications, ways of painting it. But what was always central was to enhance the beauty of what was created. I think that's about it. Our lives, Eve and I, is all about it.
Yeah, and
nothing more.